Hello, hello. Hello there. No. Like a crapshoot every time. Let's see if I'm live. All right, I think I am. Okay, if I'm live. All right, I'll check it later. Hello, hello, everybody. Hopefully that wasn't too bad. Oh my God, and I'm ahead of time. Yes. All right, so here we go. Today we are going through Zoom. All right. Chat me if you're here. Share my screen. All right, so today we are going through this. Just so you know, one of my friends always tells me that I should do this without the slides, that I'm like a lot more into it without the slides. So let me know what you think. I'm going to do it with the slides because I actually wrote a lot on the slides this time, which against all presentation things, you should never do that, but I did. So we're doing it. All right, content creation made simple. Oh, I wish I had written down my cheesy name too. I got like triple cheesed on this one. So if you know me, you know I love the cheesy. And I came up with one that it's probably in the Facebook thing. If I could see it, I would tell you. Oh yeah, here it is. Here it is. Oh, I can take this off live. Yay. All right. Consistently creative, crafting, compelling content. Little alliteration. But I think I had already done this. So it has two names. And it also has two acronyms, which is so funny. Okay, one acronym, but two, I'll show you. Anyway, so content creation. Why do we talk about content creation so much? Because I truly believe that whether you are just starting your business or you've been in business 10 years, you need to build up your personal brand and you need for people to know exactly who you are, what you're all about, how you can help them. And content is the best way to do that, in my opinion. So I think that number one, if you want to build a true foundation, assets are important. And if you look at, if you're going to sell your business, okay, you're not going to sell your, like my business is Eric O'Leary. Clearly, I'm not going to sell Eric O'Leary, right? But let's just pretend it was called strategic setup. If I was going to sell strategic setup, what are they looking for? They're looking for assets. Assets would be something like your audience, your email list, things like that, right? Well, when you build a personal brand, it's your brand. It's like your greatest asset. You're not going to sell it, but you can move with it. Think Elon Musk, right? No matter what he starts, people want to be a part of it because they believe in him, know, like, and trust. They believe so much in his vision, in his excitement about what he's doing that they're investing blind. How many of you know somebody that they can say, hey, I've got something new coming out. You're going to love it. And they post it up, has next to nothing about it. They put a price and a paid link and you pay and you buy it. How many of you have ever done that? Like almost completely blind. I know I have. I have certain people that if they put something up, I want it. I know I want it. Right. So that's just the way it is. So everybody needs that personal brand to be able to set up your business in a way that lasts and that isn't like, so I don't know if you've ever studied, I started back in 2007, I'll get into that, but I started back in 2007 and SEO was like one of the very first things I heard about, learned about, thought was like so cool, right? And SEO is search engine optimization. but it takes a while to do it. So people will compare search engine optimization with Facebook ads. Well, the thing about Facebook ads is they go away. I love them, but just saying, right? You turn them off, they turn off. The flow stops. Search engine optimization keeps that flow going. It takes a long time to build it up, but once it's there, it's there. Your personal brand is very similar. I mean, if you drop off the face of the map, then, you know, eventually it will too. But for the most part, if you dive into really building up a great foundation, it will stick with you as long as you kind of keep it going. So you'll notice like a lot of bigger people, they may have started out, you know, you hear like, if you want to be on TikTok, you should post 3 times a day. A lot of people start off posting 3 times a day, and then maybe they slow it down. I mean, obviously, if you can do it as a one-man show, you better be able to do it when you have a team, right? So they should be upping it rather than lowering it. But you hear what I'm saying. All right, so first one, oh, let me talk about my cheese. If you're following the cheese, there's always an acronym. Not always. Always is a strong word. Sometimes they do alliteration. There's always something cheesy for you. But this time there is an acronym that's like a letter that spells out a word. So the first letter is S. And if you'll notice, just to point out my cheese, every one of these I did 2, hold on. I did 2 phrases for the letter. So this one is strategic setup and set your foundation. Some of them I had to stretch, but you get it. All right, let's go. I have a hard early stop today. What is the most dreaded appointment you could possibly think of? Drop it down below. I'll tell you what appointment I have once we get into it a little bit. But if you're watching, what is the most dreaded appointment you have? All right, I'll tell you mine. Strategic setup, set your foundations. Now that I said it out loud and I'm thinking about it, you're probably going to think it's one thing, but it's not. It's another. Okay. All right. What are your pillars? All right. You should be able to say your pillars very quickly. You should know your pillars like the back of your hand, right? Your pillars, I like to say, should be anywhere between 3 and 7 pillar. You should have between 3 and 7 pillars. They should reflect your brand's ethos. I love that word, so I'm using it. But if you don't know what it means, it just means what your brand stands for, what it's all about. So they should reflect your brand's ethos and your audience's expectations. What does your audience actually want from you? Because remember, it's about them, not you. All right, so we're going to go into my pillars so I can give you a true to life example of what I think are good pillars. Obviously, I think mine are good pillars, but you know what I mean. What I think are good pillars, they do not have to be cheesy like mine, but you guys know me, and mine spell out STAR, and then there's an extra one because my program is STAR Transformation. So mine spell out STAR, and then there's an extra one, and I'll show you the extra one. All right. So let's check out mine. If you're following along and if you want to take notes, you don't need to like take notes on my pillars, but if you want to go back and do this for yourself, what I would say is choose what your pillars are that reflect your brand and that talk about your audience's expectations. Write these down, brand ethos or brand, reflect your brand, or what does your brand stand for? Write that down and write down audience's expectations, because in case you want to ChatGPT, those are the 2 things that I really want you to solidify, when coming up with your pillars. And there's a lot more that go into your pillars, but this is a great, awesome start. So my first pillar is S for STAR, solidify strategy. So the brand ethos, my brand champions strategic thinking and meticulous planning as the backbone of success in business. I emphasize the importance of having a clear roadmap to achieve goals. Why? Because I tell you, I believe in you building a real business. There are a lot of tactics out there, but I believe in strategy. I believe in a solid business foundation. So that's where this comes from, right? I want you to have all of that. You have to plan to be able to do that. And your content also needs to be planned out. It needs to be thought about. Intentional. If you saw my post today, I don't remember if I put it on Facebook, but it's on LinkedIn. Intentional actions. All right. And your audience's expectations. My audience primarily consisting of coaches, consultants, and entrepreneurs who expect actionable guidance on crafting effective strategies that can lead to business growth and stability. So my audience wants a strategy, but a step-by-step strategy. And that's what STAR transformation does. It takes them through these 4 pillars. And then the last one I weave throughout the 4 pillars. But solidify strategy is the first thing. You have to have that strategy down. And that's what my STAR transformation does. So think about the things that I'm saying for yourself, right? I'm telling you, my pillars are the 4 pieces of my STAR strategy, STAR, right? Of my STAR transformation. So it's what I sell you, and it's also my pillars. And then this is why. This is the first one is a pillar. All right, let's go to the next one. Oh, it says it and you can't see it, but it says up here, thrive through engagement. So the T is thrive, but it's really about engagement, right? Thrive through engagement. So my approach, I have to say this out loud. I do this every time. I create my my slides in Canva, and then I try to do like something that I think looks cool. And it only looks cool in Canva. When I save it to a PowerPoint, not so cool. That's one of those. So I hope it's not every slide, but anyway, I'll read it to you if it's there. All right. So thrive through engagement. Brand ethos. My approach involves building strong relationships and engaging deeply with my community or customer base. I advocate for meaningful interactions as a way to build trust and loyalty. All right. So a little bit about me. I believe in community. I do a hybrid of one-on-one with community. Why? Because I believe community is very strong. And the one thing that my community will tell you is my community is very tight. It's very, I do a good job of bringing them in, letting them shine, right? I want everybody in my community to shine. And I do a good job of that. I have a background in education as well. And so commanding an audience is something that comes, I want to say naturally, but easily to me because of my educational background and because of just doing it and winging it, as my people like to say. But one of the things that I do believe in is that audience. And so a lot of the things that I do includes like doing it through an audience or a way to do that. So customer base, community, relationships. In my program, this one is Thrive Through Engagement. I talk a lot about how to really engage to build a relationship and not just spam, not just do it to do it, not just, not just. I want you to do it for a reason. Otherwise, don't do it. Right. All right. An audience expect. Okay. And so what is that building? Even if that person's not going to become a client, it's building know, like, and trust with them. It's building people who may eventually hire you, people who you may eventually collaborate with, people who may run into somebody that can say, hey, I know the girl, right? And introduce you. So that's what you want to build regardless of what you're doing. Take a little bit of maybe an extra step or an extra minute to do something that's worthwhile. Don't just like throw spaghetti at the wall. All right, audience's expectations. I have a story about that, but I will not go into at the moment, but I love that thing. Audience's expectations. My clients look for innovative ways to engage with their own audiences, expecting tips on creating content that resonates and fosters a strong community around their brands. So this is something that we're always doing. And that part does maybe include some tactics, some new ways to do it, all of that. But that's what it's all about. Always innovating, always trying to make it better, doing the basics and then going back and putting it on fire or something like that, right? That's what it's all about. Oh, I did all of them like that. So sorry. All right. The next one is accelerate your impact. STA, accelerate. Accelerate your impact. So the brand ethos on this one, I focus on impactful growth and increasing one's influence in their field. My methods are designed to help clients not just participate in their markets, but lead them. So I talk about you becoming a thought leader. And the funny thing is almost none of my clients are dying to be these thought leaders. I talk about it because I want to raise the bar for everyone coming in. And the reason I want to raise the bar has a lot to do with, you know, we need to be 1% better every day. That's one of the things that I like to talk about. But also when you become a thought leader, that's really truly when you will have people coming to you, which is the big goal, right? Not you chasing people, not you outreaching to people, but you've done so much that your brand now stands alone. People are talking about you. People want to interview you. People want to know what you're doing next. Thought leader. And it's not nearly as difficult as it is in your head when you say it. So I always say, this is the sea of sameness, right? Gary Vee might be up there, but you only need to pop out to here. You don't have to be up there with Gary Vee. You can be here and still make it to 6 and 7 figures. It's in your audience. It's in your peers, right? They need to know who you are, not the entire world. I mean, I love Tony Robbins, and he's a lot bigger now than he was even 5 years ago. But if you went into a Walmart, not every single person would know who Tony Robbins is. We do, and he seems like he's so uber famous because of the world we are in. But if you ask your friends and neighbors, they'll be like, who? I've heard of them, depending on what they're into, right? Anyway. All right, so audiences' expectations. Clients expect to learn how to expand their reach effectively, utilizing tools and techniques that elevate their visibility and influence within their niche. See, that doesn't really go into the whole thought leader. They're not thinking about that. So I'm showing them what they're thinking about. What does my audience really want? They want to expand their reach. They want visibility. Why? Because they want leads. They want people, they want engagement. They want people, you know, raising their hand when they put out that post. So that's what it's all about. And influence, persuasion. All right. Oh, so sorry I did this. All right. The last one of the star is earning recognition. So it's recognition. And you're like, oh, I don't really care about being famous. Well, neither do I. I mean, that's not what it's all about. So let's read it. Recognition and credibility are core to my brand and yours, believe it or not. I emphasize the importance of being acknowledged as a leader and expert in one's field. Again, this is what I'm talking about. I want you to be there. Audience expectations. My audience aims to establish credibility and earn accolades that validate their expertise and hard work. So a lot of people come in and they are maybe a little bit insecure. Maybe they not think of my words right now, but oh my God, what is it that everybody has? I'm just totally drawing a blank. But anyway, they a lot of times they want that validation because they don't have the confidence, even though they should. They have all of the skills and ability to be doing what they're doing. It's just that they haven't done it in this way as coaches. So a lot of them lack that. So they want the accolades that validate their expertise and hard work. They want people to recognize what they are doing, that it works. So they seek strategies to gain acknowledgement from peers. And a lot of that could just be getting those testimonials in, right? Having people say, oh my God, this was game changing. I love this, right? I love when people say that. So those are really big things. That's what your audience wants. This is what I want for you and what my brand kind of wants for you. All right. And then the last one of my pillars is personal development. I'm big on that. I just mentioned the 1%. Personal well-being is integral to professional success. This is my brand, what I believe. I emphasize holistic development, ensuring that clients are equipped to handle the pressures and challenges of entrepreneurship. So again, I talk a lot about the mindset behind it. I bring in community. Why? Because I know community strengthens that side of pushing you forward, of pulling you forward, of whatever it is. I bring that into what I believe is a well-rounded way to help you. But the other thing I also do in my business is my whole programs are typically very holistic. They're A to B, A to Z, not A to B. So they're A to Z in this part, right? But they're not just A in this part. So a lot of times, like example, you will see somebody that just focuses on LinkedIn. I go for the holistic version more because I believe in omnipresence. I believe that just learning LinkedIn isn't going to help you. I mean, it will, but I like to teach it the strategy behind it so that you understand and can take that and use it in other places. And if LinkedIn, goes away, kind of like Clubhouse, loved it. But if you want to be somewhere else, how can you bring that knowledge with you? Goes with my brand, right? Your personal brand. How can you bring it with you? Your foundation of your business. It moves with you. It goes with you. That's your assets, right? Good stuff. So that's kind of where that comes in. But your brand well-being, your personal well-being is getting I talk about productivity, time management, getting your head in the game. I don't necessarily teach this, but talk about it a lot. My own, fitness and well-being. I, struggle to drink the water. I talk about that a lot because I do believe that that is what you're after as well in your own world, whether you're already mastering that piece of it or not. It's something that a lot of us as entrepreneurs strive for. The whole personal development side, I think, is something that we all value, realize is something that's going to help us. All right, audience's expectations. I better hurry up. Blah, blah, blah. Sorry, I talked too much. Audience's expectations. My clients expect guidance, not only on business growth, but also personal health and productivity. They look for advice on managing their time effectively, staying productive, and maintaining a positive mindset to handle the demands of their work. So that's kind of how I help in my program. I also include, I have a separate program for this, but I also include it in my main program. I don't know if you've ever read the 12-week year, but something going through something similar to that so that you can set it up and be successful. If you're interested in doing that, whether it's full program or just that, let me know. I do it at the beginning of every quarter. All right. So do your pillars focus on bridging your brand and your audience. So the pillars, my pillars effectively, I do believe my pillars effectively bridge what your brand stands for, what my brand stands for, with what my audience needs and expects. I believe that I did that, well, but you tell me, how do you think that those did? You are my audience. So tell me if you think that that kind of went to what my brand talks about and how I incorporated your needs in there. All right, so creating a strong foundation for content that is both engaging and enriching. So you want both sides of it, and I want you to go through this. So homework, I want you to go through this, whether you do it by hand, you use ChatGPT to help you, whatever it is that you do, but go through your pillars, figure out what those are. Drop them below if you already know them, but if you get up a whole brand ethos, put out a post about it. That'd be a cool post, right? I haven't even done it myself. Shoemaker's daughter, but put out a post with that. It's cool to explain it. You could do a carousel explaining, your brand pillars. I'm so doing that. All right, let's go. I have more ideas for you than I do for myself. Didn't even think that until I just said it. All right, who is Erica Leary? We are going to go through this really, really quickly. So, I started back in 2007, which I think I already mentioned. And I started off more on the digital agency side, which again, I still have, and I'm building a new one with a partner. But at the same time, it was so new back then. It was just so new back then. I was also consulting, and consulting is a lot more telling somebody kind of what to do. Coaching is a lot more guiding and asking questions. I do a hybrid. depending on who you are and what you want. I definitely do a hybrid. A lot of people really still just want to be told, and I don't mind doing that. But I do ask a lot more questions now than I did back then. And I think that because of who I work with now, which is entrepreneurs and coaches, we are a little bit different than small business owners. If you're a small business owner, yes, I still work with you, but it's a lot different. Small business owners really don't want to go through all of it. They just tell me what to do and how to do it and hire somebody for me. I don't even want to do that. They want a lot more done for you. Entrepreneurs, I work with a lot that want done for you stuff, but we still need that first piece to get to the done for you section. So these are just some people I've met with, some stages I've been on, some summits. I did that summit last year. On the top right, I was on stage with Dan Henry, Ryan Levesque, Greg Wells, Doug Boughton, who I absolutely love. Down on the bottom left, that's Phil Palucha. He's pretty big on LinkedIn in our world. And he was like my headliner at my summit that I did. And Kim Walsh Phillips, this was right below me. This was me on stage at one of my own events, but this below was Kelly Roach, and this was a little TV thing that I did. All right, now for me, let's go. So that all was S. Don't worry, we're flying through the rest. I promise you. All right, that just took long because I wanted to really give you a great example using mine. All right, so ingenuous integration, implement a content calendar, right? You really want to put it all together. You want to know your pillars. You want to know when you're speaking about stuff. You want to know what are you promoting, whether that's a freebie or a paid product or your program, whatever it is. You want to know what it is, when you're doing it, and how often you're doing it. So you want to write it down. I don't care if you do it on sticky notes on your wall, if you use, do I go through some? Okay. So SI was that masterful methods are some tools that will help you do all of these things, not just the calendar, right? So did I put for calendar? Asana, you can use Asana for a calendar. Google Sheets you can use for the calendar, right? But you can use Asana and Google Sheets for a whole lot more than calendars. I plan out, I do quarterly plans and monthly plans. I do all of that. So Asana is so fun to do that. Visual, so I like that they have the boards. If you've ever used like Trello, Asana is very fun for that. Google Sheets you could use. I'd use Google Sheets for a ton of stuff, right? But what else? In your business, you can use maximize efficiency tools and batch create. So Meta, you can schedule out your stuff. It's free. Schedule. Canva, you can batch create regular posts. You can batch create reels. It's really easy to batch create. If you've never done something like that, come to one of my planning sessions where I do the content planning and creation. I do 2-day, they're paid, but I do 2-day sessions. Workshops, that's the word I was looking for. I do 2-day workshops every month on how to plan your content and then create your content. And if you are in my programs, that also comes with it. All right, Descript. Oh, love Descript. If you want my affiliate link for Descript, just hit me up. I'd love to send it to you. I don't know. I probably get like $1.80 when you you sign up for it. It's very, maybe not even $1.80. It's very inexpensive. Descript is, I want to say like $16 a month, but it is amazing. So Descript is how I edit myself. If you don't have somebody to edit, I also have VAs that go into Descript and edit, but I do a lot of them myself because whatever. Descript, edit yourself. What else? Descript also has something like, oh, I didn't put it on here because I couldn't find the the logo. I was going to put it on later, but Opus, if you've never used Opus, Opus will chop up your like this. If I put this into Opus, it'll chop it up. I don't normally do these because they're kind of ugly because all you see is this screen and then hear me talking, but Descript will do something very similar. They have AI that does that now. It's a little bit newer. I don't know if you've tried it. I tried it the other day. Very cool. Very, very cool. So All right, P. So remember, we're at S-I-M-P. Anybody guess the word? Drop it below. Anybody guess the word? Drop it below. So S-I-M-P. Practical participation, double cheese, promote participation. Oh, I should have done not right on here. Accident. Okay. I think it says Robert. I don't have my glasses on, so can't see. Oh, there's a couple of you on here. Oh, I'm talking out loud. Hold on. I'm almost done and I'm doing this now, but it's okay. Not totally. All right. Oh, there are a couple of you on here. Cute. Long time no see. Gynecology. It's not. Oh, and I'm glad I just read that. It's not actually. For me, it's the dentist. I might be one of the only women that hate the dentist more than the OBGYN, but it is the dentist. I have a dentist appointment at 11. And if you know me, I have a dog who cannot stay home alone. So I have to go drop him off at his at the babysitters. You're not alone, the dentist. Yeah, horrible. All right, so promote participation. So how can you promote participation? You just saw it, right? At the beginning of this, I talked about, oh, I've got to hurry through this because I've got an appointment at 12, right? I have an appointment. I'm in Panama, so it's 11, but I talk about in Eastern, which is 12. Whatever. I have an appointment, top of the hour. And that's participation. Can you guess what it is, right? I said, drop my acronym. If anybody can guess my acronym, we're at SIMP. If anybody can, that's interaction, right? So we can do a live video, which would be this, events, polls don't lie. Polls get people coming back and forth. And this one on the top right is like interactive. Not a lot of people are using this yet, but there's ways to do like interactive graphics. And honestly, I'm not either. It takes a little bit of time. We're a team. Interactive graphics, but you could create graphics where you can click on something and it goes somewhere else. Very cool. You can do interactive videos now where you can do something where in the video you click on it, it goes to something else. Anyway, very cool stuff. But the more you can, your posts, let's get simple. Put a post up, ask a question. That's interactive. You're getting participation when you can get people to talk back to you. Lively learning. So learn and adapt, double L cheese. Evaluate individual pieces of content. And the reason I wrote this is because of what's to come. But you want to look at the metrics and analysis of all of your posts. Why? You want to know what types of posts people are loving. What are you saying in posts that people are loving? So what can you do? You can go back and look at the outliers. Do not compare yourself to somebody else when you're trying to analyze, because your audience is not their audience and your numbers are not their numbers. And you're not them, right? You might be amazing at long form content, and somebody else might be amazing on video. And you're not. So your videos aren't hitting, whereas your long form are crushing it. But you keep hearing everybody saying you have to do video, you have to do video. So you stop doing the long form, you start doing video, and you're like, what is going on? I don't understand. I used to get so much engagement. What happened? That's what happened. Number one, if something's working, don't stop. Don't stop. Double down and add. Double down, add. Double down, add, right? Don't stop one, add another. Double down on what's working and then add another. So I talked about at the beginning when you're building those foundations. Well, we might build the foundations and we keep moving on. We keep adding and adding and adding. We never go back, right? 10 years in, go back. Do it again. See what's going on. Your audience is not the same today as it was 10 years ago. You're not the same today as you were 10 years ago, right? And they say pivoting is like, oh my God, people are so sick of that word. But the reality is, even if you're doing the exact same thing as you were 10 years ago, I guarantee you your messaging has done this, right? And then it was here. So 10 years ago, here. So we learn, we grow, we evolve. If you're not doing that, you're not doing your job, right? You need to be learning and evolving. So it shouldn't be the exact same unless you're Nike, just do it, right? You get what I'm saying. All right. So we want to be looking at those individual pieces of content. I don't want you to like, post and then 10 minutes later, look at it and judge it. No. At the end of every week, go back, see what the outliers were. At the end of every month, go back, check it out. What's going on? What's looking good? You want to do it frequently enough so that you're catching it, right? So that you're catching, you don't want to wait to the end of the quarter and realize that in the first month, you were hitting with this and then you stopped doing it because we're experimenting, right? Anyway, so lively learning, learn and adapt. So on the go, right? On the go, always be. All right, engage and evaluate. So evaluate your impact. So I want you to track. So not only you want that on the fly, what's working with this particular piece of content, or what types of content are working, you want to know what the overall impact is, right? So what are they saying about you? How is your account growing overall? Are your numbers overall going up? Track that type of stuff as well. And then evaluate what people are saying about you. I talk a lot about feedback loops. I'm not going to go into this because our time is limited. But anyway, you want as much measurement as you can handle. And even sometimes if you do like measuring stuff that you don't necessarily need, as long as you don't bog yourself down and like get into it, if it's easy to measure it. Why? Because maybe today you don't need it, but maybe in 2 months you're like, oh yeah, I wish I was doing it. No, you're already doing it, right? So capture as much as you can, but decide what your focus is and make those be your KPIs. The one thing that you're focusing on, or the 2 or 3 things max that you're focusing on, right? Okay. All right, simple. So that was the spelling that we did. Framework, if you want to pick real quick. Strategic setup, ingenuous integration. That was, using other things. Masterful method. So this was make sure you use like a content calendar or something. And masterful methods are all the tools that you can use to make sure that you're batching, to make sure that you're doing it efficiently, to make sure that you're doing as much as you possibly can. ChatGPT, I didn't even put in there, right? Practical participation, that was making sure you're doing live events, getting people to answer you, making sure that you do hand raising type posts, engagement posts. Lively learning. So on the fly, you want to make sure that the actual content, this is lively learning is down to the nitty gritty of the actual posts and that type of stuff. And then engage and evaluate. You want to engage with your audience, ask them how it's working, find out from them what's really going on. Track your big numbers, like is your audience growing, that type of thing. All right, next week on Elevate and Engage, client attraction secrets, how to stand out and draw in your ideal clients, right? How do we do that? Content and engagement. All right, and coming up, empty calendar to fully booked, supercharge content and convert clients webinar. So that is going to be on September 4th. If you saw me talking about it earlier, may have had a different time. This is the time. So we're going to do it at noon Eastern, 5 p.m. UK, and that's on Wednesday. So it's an hour after this, and it's on Wednesday. All right. Have an amazing rest of your day. Love to hear your comments down below. Oh, Glenn got it simple. Nice. All right. Love to hear your comments about the presentation. And as I asked in the beginning, everybody's like, oh, you should never do the slides. I think the slides kind of help when you're doing something like a, these are a lot more intensive teaching type stuff. So I think they're helpful, but you let me know. Love to hear it. All right. See you all next Thursday. Oh, and on Mondays, I do have a free thing I'm doing. It's called Content Creation Accountability. It's on Mondays. If you want to come to that, it's basically a work session where we do a little bit of teaching, maybe 10 minutes at the beginning, talk about something. Then we do work session and then we reflect at the end. So if you're interested in doing that, making sure you all are getting your content done. I'm doing on Mondays to make sure you plan. Let me know. Love to send you a link. And that is link Zoom only. All right, ciao, ciao. See you Monday, see you Friday, Thursday, sometime. All right, have a great day. Wish me luck at the dentist.